Hello, welcome back to Timeless Recollections. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Stacy.
We're here today and we're going to talk about some actually recent memories, I guess. My granddaughter Allie, I think we might have touched on it in a previous video that she was facing heart surgery. And we got to the pre-admission testing and the cardiothoracic surgeon came in that day and told us that he wasn't going to do the surgery. He felt like it might possibly be more gastric related, and he wanted my daughter Lauren to have some.
Well, let me back up and say the pre-admission testing was on the Friday before Thanksgiving. The heart surgery was scheduled to be the Monday.
Right.
And I don't know why they had not met with that surgeon before that day.
Because we asked about that before, and they said that she would just meet with him at the pre-admission testing.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Well, because it had something to do with they don't really have like a clinic for the cardiothoracic. They just come in and consult or whatever. I don't know. I didn't understand it. But anyway, so we got to the pre-admission testing. He comes in. He says he thinks he would like for Lauren to have more gastric. I just realized I forgot. I got a fingernail that come off. Anyway, more gastric. What's the word I'm trying to find?
Clearance.
Yeah, I guess so.
Testing clearance.
Yeah. So
rule out
investigative stuff for gastric.
He wasn't saying at that point that the thoracic, the vascular surgery was definitely off. It was just off for that Monday.
Correct.
Pending further gastric testing.
Yes. And the reason that he said that was because the particular heart surgery, which is called ARSA, is aortic right subclavian something. I don't remember what the last thing is. But anyway.
Anastomosis.
I don't think that don't sound right. But anyway, basically what it is she has an artery in her heart that's in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be on the left side of the heart instead of the right side, but it's on the right side. And where it is around her esophagus. So she had started having a lot of difficulty eating. She had been on a pureed diet. She was throwing up. She was having some gasping episodes when she would eat solid food. So she'd been on a pureed diet since August, I think. And she's not been eating meat for a couple of years because it hurt her.
But also, just a little bit of backtrack. She had... Was it back in the spring or summer that she had her sleep study?
No, it's been...
Because she hadn't got her CPAP yet.
It was around that same time, around August or so. Yeah. So, yeah, she's also got severe sleep apnea. So, anyway, that's what several doctors thought it was this artery causing her to have issues with eating solid foods. And so, anyway, my daughter's hopes were kind of dashed because she had everything planned out for this surgery. She had scheduled it on a week where her husband could be off, where her son would be out of school. And then it was just, everything was planned. And Allie is a special needs child, and she has a lot of different complex issues.
And I would like at some point for Lauren to come, like when she's here, for her to like come on the video with us and just give Allie's total history if she wants to.
Yeah.
just so people could understand
Well, and I mean,
why everything is just a little more complicated. Routine things are more complicated when it comes to Allie.
Yeah, she's got 2 rare. Well, she has one for sure rare genetic disorder. The second one, they're pretty confident that she has a second one, but it's not yet been named. But anyway, she's got a lot of medical issues. And a lot of times though, the issues, the doctors are like, yes, there is an issue, but it's not severe enough that we can, but she's having symptoms and everything. So that's where Lauren's frustration is that she just wanted Allie to be able to eat. She wanted her to feel better, and like she said, there's a lot of activities, and you don't realize this, but a lot of activities in your life revolve around food.
Most any family gathering, for sure.
Yes. Well, and just every day. Anyway, so he said that he wanted her to go to this aerodigestive clinic. Or no, aerogastric clinic. I think it might be aerodigestive. I don't remember. Anyway, it involves a pulmonary doctor, a gastric doctor, and an ENT. Well, she had a friend who worked there, and she got in that Monday.
The Monday following Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's right. The Monday following Thanksgiving. She had started working on it like the Monday before Thanksgiving. So she got an appointment for the Monday after Thanksgiving. So she went to the aerogastric clinic or whatever it is, digestive, whichever it is, on that Monday. And they said they wanted to do a triple scope, which was going to be a bronchoscope, a laryngoscope, and I guess the gastric, whatever that one's called. Endoscopy, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, 3 scopes. But they also wanted her to go over to the ENT's office to have further evaluation. So she went over to the ENT's office, and the ENT said, let's go ahead. He looked at her, and he looked at her tonsils and everything, and he knew she had severe sleep apnea, and he said, let's just go ahead and take her tonsils out while she's already under for the scopes. So come Tuesday, because she's supposed to have all this done on Wednesday. And so Tuesday, she started getting sick. Well, they live in Florida, where it's warmer, and it had been really cold here in Alabama. And so she'd been at her father-in-law's house, so she thought it was because the heat had been running constantly. So she thought, well, she's just got something, just getting normal run-of-the-mill, difference in the climate, how when the weather changes, you'll get some sort of like gunk.
You can get stopped up from heat running, dries you out and stops you up. And people will say it don't make you sick, but it makes you stopped up. And if you get stopped up, your nose, your sinuses get stopped up, you're more likely to get an infection or a cold.
Yeah.
When they're dried out.
But she was coughing, and so Lauren started treating her with everything. She was taking her temperature. She wasn't running a fever. So Wednesday morning, she got up. She still wasn't running a fever, so she took her on. They checked her at the Children's Hospital. She still wasn't running a fever. So she ended up getting her tonsils out and her
turbinates.
I forgot about that. Her turbinates, which is, I didn't even know what that was, but it's a scraping in your nose passages or something like that. Isn't that what it is?
Well, turbinates themselves are like little different layers within your nose.
Because she has more of a flatter nose. So she has very small nasal passages anyway. So they thought that would help with her sleep apnea as well. So anyway, and she is on a CPAP machine now, which she calls a sleep PAP machine.
She had just gotten it like the week before, right?
Yes. So she hadn't even been on it very long. So anyway, they had decided because of her severe sleep apnea, because that was the whole reason to take the tonsils out, was that the ENT said even when she did the return sleep study to figure out her prescription for the CPAP machine, he said even on the machine, her numbers were still not great. So he thought that would benefit her. So anyway, she had all that done, and they decided to keep her in overnight because of the severe sleep apnea, just to make sure. Which it was a good thing that they had because I left there about 3:00 in the afternoon, and I returned about 5:30, and her oxygen level, it had been kind of staying low in the 80s. We didn't think a whole lot about it, but then it just kept staying in the 80s because we thought, well, maybe when the anesthesia wears off or whatever. And she was still kind of sleepy, and everything. And they just had her on the nasal cannula, and we hadn't been there maybe 20 minutes.
Excuse me. Keep going.
Yeah, we hadn't been there maybe 20 minutes, and then her other grandfather showed up, and the nurse came in, and they started getting concerned about. Actually, I think they might have put her on a different mask at that time. Maybe a high flow mask. In between me getting there, I can't remember. A lot of stuff ran like together. Anyway, within about 20-25 minutes of us being there, they called in what we termed as the rapid response team, which was consisting of about 8 to 10 people being in the room. And they made the decision to take her on over to the ICU. So I stayed the night. The machine kept going off all night.
You need to backtrack. Jason had gone home.
Oh, yeah.
Jason wasn't there.
Our son-in-law, Jason, was in Florida.
He needed to get back to work, and Luke needed to get back to school. So since she didn't have heart surgery, and there wasn't anything for sure scheduled other than the Monday after Thanksgiving appointment with the aerogastro or whatever.
Yeah.
So didn't know anything was going to be done.
Well, he wasn't real thrilled about her having even tonsillectomy without him being here. And he said that'll be the last time that she even has just a routine medical procedure that he's not around. But anyway, actually, and I forgot one other thing. They had, when I got back to the hospital, they had a droplets thing sign on the room when I got back to the hospital that evening. So I said, what's that for? And Lauren said, well, she's got RSV. So, spent the night, stayed there. Doctors coming to the rounds. Her oxygen's still staying kind of low. And about 4:00 that afternoon.
Is this the day of the surgery or this?
This is the day after.
Okay. It's all run together.
About 4:00 in the afternoon, then they started talking about that they may have to intubate her.
Because was she on CPAP or BiPAP at this point?
I think she was on BiPAP.
I remember.
Yeah, they had changed her off of high flow to CPAP to BiPAP, and it kept going back and forth. They kept trying to get her back to CPAP, but every time they would try.
And she wasn't even maintaining on BiPAP good, was she?
No, she wasn't. She was still staying in the 80s. So anyway, they decided that they needed to probably intubate her. And Jason was already on his way from Florida. He was only a couple of hours into his trip, which it's about a 5-hour trip. And it was severely raining that day, so that made it a little longer. And Lauren wanted to wait until Jason got there, but they told her they didn't think that they had that kind of time. So she called him, and he said, yes, go ahead and have them do it. So they ended up intubating her. And then they gave her some Lasix. I don't remember if it was the Lasix. The Lasix was on Friday, because I remember that because we came back on Saturday morning.
And they intubated late Thursday.
Right. So, and we had to leave the hospital.
Late Thursday afternoon. Late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah, it was about 4:30. And so, since when Jason got there, we decided we would stay a few minutes, but we would go ahead and leave and let them have their family time. So, and we were going to have to leave by 9 o'clock anyway because Jason was going to be spending the night. So only 2 parents could be in the room at the time, overnight. So we came on home Friday. We went back up there, stayed pretty much all day. They ended up giving her Lasix on Friday. And because they thought she was puffy. Well, her blood pressure dropped to 60/30, and we were very, very worried at that. Well, even when we found out they were going to have to intubate her, I started sending out text messages to a lot of people asking for prayer. My cousin in California, Brenda, she had commented that before, when we thought Allie was going to have her heart surgery, she had commented and said that people in California had been praying for her because she had put Allie's name up in their Sunday school class as a person for prayer. So I reached out to her. I reached out to our friends, people at work, just different groups of people. And then some of my friends reached out to different people. And so she had a lot of people praying for her. But when we left the hospital and her blood pressure was 60/30, I was pretty worried. And
I would say when you messaged me, I was praying. I didn't message Lauren, and I didn't message you too much, because I knew y'all were having other people that y'all need. I just wanted, if there was a change in status, I wanted to know, but if everything was the same, not better, not worse, I was fine, as long as I knew that much, because I knew y'all had plenty of other people that were probably messaging, and I didn't want to be one more message that y'all had to get. So, but I was praying. What I didn't know, I didn't know about the Lasix. I didn't know they'd given her Lasix. So I was rightfully worried when you messaged me about her blood pressure, but I probably wouldn't have been as worried had I known she had had the Lasix, because then I was like, oh, too much fluid came off. They just need to give her more fluid, get her pressure back up. But I didn't know, because I didn't know if there was something else like going on, like if she had like a blood vessel that, was bleeding, that didn't get cauterized or tied off good or whatever, that was causing her blood pressure to drop.
Well,
so that was my concern, because I didn't know about the Lasix at that point.
Her heart rate was
high.
I can't remember because it was high at one time. Her respiratory rate was high sometime, but then it was low at times. Her vitals were all over the place. Oh, and she was running 103 fever. That was when we left Friday as well, I believe. Anyway, but she had great care while she was at Children's Hospital, especially in the ICU. They were phenomenal, and the doctors were phenomenal too. They come in and they would explain and listen to the concerns, and they only had like one bad experience with one. It was all in the same night: a respiratory therapist and a resident, all on the same night. But everybody else was great. So, but anyway, we got there on Saturday morning, and her blood pressure was good. Her breathing was decent. They were trying to.
It was still ventilator intubated.
Yeah, but they were trying to get her off of the vent that day, but they also had a child next to her that was very, very sick. And they were having to do what I think was a last-ditch effort. That's what I was told by Lauren. She said it was one of the last things they could try to save the child's life, and it was the ECMO machine or whatever. There was a ton, when we got there were a ton of equipment all up and down the hall. There was a ton of people in the room. Like, we couldn't see in the room, but we could, like, hear or whatever, But anyway, he was really, really sick. And when, I want to say it was the day before, or maybe it was the night they moved Allie off of.
I know she was still on the ventilator when all that was going on with the kid in the room next door, because I remember saying, because you were saying so many people were in that room, I was like, well, I don't want them to try to take her vent out and have all those personnel
that was Lauren.
be tied
that
up.
was Lauren too. Because that particular weekend was bad, because there were several codes that happened that weekend. Like on that Sunday, there were several codes. So Lauren was like, I don't really want this done on the weekend, because you already don't have a full crew on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And
here's my concern. I was like, okay, Allie's been through the trauma of being intubated and on the vent. Lauren and Jason, everybody, y'all, everybody's been through the trauma of knowing that she needed to be intubated and ventilated. Mm-hmm. Don't take it out too soon and it have to be done again.
Yeah.
That's what I was, because I wasn't even real thrilled that it was even discussed, less than 24 hours. I mean, I know they don't like for people to be intubated longer than a, certain amount of time. And I know there's also complications that can arise the longer you are. But I feel like the complications and the mental strain would be worse if she wasn't able to go without it and it had to be done again.
Yeah.
I felt like that would have been worse.
Well, they ended up not being able to take it out until, I want to say it was Tuesday. So it was like pretty much a week she was on it. We'll see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, 6 days she was on it. And I remember telling Stacy, and
I felt horrible upset for you that
I was
night.
crying.
I didn't know what I could say, but I knew. Here's what I thought. The devil is in her head, putting these doubts. Because in the same message you told me you were worried, you also said she had thrown a ball 3 times and had sat on the side of the bed and kicked. And this was the day before they took the tube out. And I'm like, I mean, those things indicate improvement. But the devil was just getting in your head.
Yeah.
Because those were signs of improvement. Those were not signs to worry more. And it may be that you just kind of slowed down out of the high emotions enough for thoughts to sink in.
Yeah, I was worried that was going to be her life.
And I felt horrible for you. And I didn't know what to say other than try not to worry, because, I mean, I know it's impossible that you're going to worry, but.
An interesting thing is one of Allie's the one that they have named is Coffin-Siris syndrome. Coffin, like Coffin, and I'm not sure how. I think it's SI, but it might be CI. I can't remember. Anyway, it's rare, and there was another kid on that ICU floor with the same syndrome. So that was kind of an odd thing. Anyway, her RSV had turned into pneumonia, which is why she had to be intubated. So that Sunday that they had all the codes and everything, they were keeping her sedated somewhat, but they had been lowering and lowering and lowering the sedation to kind of wean her down off of it. And anyway, so come Sunday, they had her off of it, but she still wasn't waking up. So they decided to give her a half a dose of Narcan because, and we found out later that evening why, because they ended up having to sedate her back after they gave it to her. They said she sat up straight up in the bed, that she really had not peed a lot. She had not pooped a lot at this time, but they said she peed and pooped all at the same time, and she coughed so hard they thought she was going to cough the tube right out of her.
When the Narcan kicked in.
Yes.
Because it took away all pain relief.
And so they ended up having to sedate her again because of she just got kind of agitated or whatever out of all that. And so Lauren,
she probably hurt terribly.
Yeah. And Lauren and Jason couldn't understand why they had taken her off all sedation, then they give her the Narcan, and then they could sedate her again. Which,
I mean, they wanted to see if it was the sedation, like.
No, that wasn't it.
If she wasn't peeing and pooping, she wasn't clearing whatever pain medicines they were giving her.
That wasn't it.
Wasn't?
Nope. It was, they were concerned that maybe she had something in her brain wrong. Like she had a brain something.
Bleed?
I don't know. That's what they came in. That was they.
Or hypoxic injury.
The attending came in and talked to them while we were there, and that was one of their concerns because they were thinking about that was, and it was the doctor that they didn't care for that night before who made that decision. And so the attending came in and he apologized and said, well, maybe we didn't explain it good enough. He said, we were concerned about there being something in her brain. I knew there was nothing in her brain, though. I knew she didn't have a brain issue.
But I mean,
I bet she didn't have a brain issue.
The possibility, if her stats were below 90% for any extended period of time, the possibility is there that you can have a hypoxic brain injury.
Yeah. So, but I knew that because when we got ready to leave, I think it was that Saturday. It might have been that Friday before all of this happened. I said, well, I guess we need to leave. And she heard us say we had to leave. And she raised her hand up like she was waving to us.
Was that the same day that you let me talk to her, or was it the next day? And you put me on speaker. And you called me and you put me on speaker. And I said, hey, Allie. And you said she raised her eyebrows.
I don't remember what day that was.
It might have been the next day, because I do feel like during that phone call before that, you told me about her waving or putting her hand up from the day before.
But then also, that was like around the same time where they were working with her on the PT and she was throwing the ball and everything. And when you would tell her to squeeze your hand, she would squeeze it. So I knew there really wasn't anything brain going on because she was following commands. So anyway, she finally got well enough to where they were able to take the tube out on that Tuesday, and she ended up staying on the pulmonary. I think they didn't get a room for her on the pulmonary floor till like Wednesday or Thursday maybe. And then she got out of the hospital. She's been out about 2 weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks Monday. But anyway, they went on back to Florida, went back with oxygen. But she has done very well. She's not having any oxygen now at all. She was being on room air during the day and having the oxygen flow through her CPAP machine at night, but now she's not on any oxygen. Her color is, she was very pale when she was at her sickest, and when she came home from the hospital that day, she was already looking pink. So, And now she's like, what? Do you know what one of the therapies they do for the pediatrics though?
I saw Lauren post of blowing bubbles.
Blow bubbles and blowing a pinwheel. Yeah.
Oh, why can't they let grown-ups do that? They'd probably be more likely to blow a pinwheel than to use the incentive spirometer.
So, anyway, what I finally did tell Lauren, though, was I was pretty apprehensive about her having the heart surgery, and I've never felt that way. But I finally, after the other thing happened, I finally told her. We did find out that cardiothoracic surgeon had never done that particular surgery, which we had prayed for the doctors to have wisdom. So I feel like he had enough wisdom, and I mean, I respect him, and he did call and talk to a cardiothoracic surgeon over at the UAB hospital, and he did tell him that it was a much more simple procedure than what he had anticipated, and that he would do it if it was needed. But now, which I didn't tell, the gastric doctor came in after they did the scopes.
It's before she declined with her oxygen and blood pressure and everything, before she had to get intubated.
Yes.
And all that. They
came in and they said they believed that the actual issue was gastric related, that she has severe esophagitis. The way she acted, like it was like one of the worst cases she's ever seen, because she was like, it was so yucky. I mean, she was just like, yucky. And so anyway, they're changing up her medicines. And she actually got to eat a grilled cheese sandwich, which she loves, which she had not been able to eat in a while. She turns 16 in January.
She will turn 16 in January. So she's... I'm just making sure it didn't sound like you said turned.
No.
Because it was...
So we will be having her sweet 16 birthday party at my house towards the end of January. So we're excited. We're planning that. And so I'm sure that will be part of a future video.
We'll definitely talk about it. We'll probably do some videos the day after, or maybe even that night, depending on how tired everybody is.
Yeah.
After the party is over, we might do one or two.
So we're gonna do it on a sweet shop theme.
Sweet 16.
This be cakes and candies, and I've got all sorts of stuff pinned. And
Cindy's really good at party decorations and themes and foods to go along with the themes.
So we're excited about it, and glad she's here to be able to do this. So, and thankful for everybody who prayed for her. And she is a miracle. She's two times over.
She's still recovering from the surgery. They originally had told Lauren, like when they came in and told her that they thought that was the issue and not the artery. They still told her like 6 to 8 weeks before she could try to get back on a regular diet. So I think she's done remarkably well. Like once she started recovering, it was just like once she started maintaining and then improving, her improvement was better every day. And it's the first thing I did every day during that time was check to see if there was an update.
A lot of people did.
I checked an update. I checked my messenger to see if I'd gotten any messages from you. Those are the two first things I did every day.
And I think the better she got, the later Lauren would put an update out there. Or sometimes it was just things were going on. So if she didn't have an update out there by a certain time, people would text me.
Which I tried not to do that because I know y'all were being bombarded, and I knew, I would hope that as your sister and as Lauren's aunt and Allie's great aunt, that I would have been one of the first people that would have been notified of things. I mean, not like,
yeah,
but I would hope if something was super serious, I wouldn't have had to wait for a Facebook update.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took comfort in, I mean, I anxiously watched for them, but I took comfort in knowing that if there was something major, that I felt like you would have let me know.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew Lauren didn't. Lauren had plenty of other people that she had to be notifying.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I don't know if I said it, excuse me, in this video, but I would like, if Lauren wants to, and it might be something that she's not too tired after Allie's party that night, can just kind of go, I mean, as brief as you can be, which, I mean, it's only been 16 years, but there's been a lot going on in from Allie's birth to now. If Lauren wanted to come on and kind of give her history.
Well, and one thing I would like to say is, if you ever do meet Allie, you will
remember her and she'll remember you.
And you will be blessed. And that's what I always say. She was put on this earth to be, her mission on this earth is to spread joy. You're going to be her best friend. She's going to love you.
She's going to miss you.
She's going to miss you. And she's going to say, you're here. Like, she's going to be totally excited until somebody else walks in the room. And then she's going to get distracted.
The next person's her best friend.
Yes. But so many people know her. So many people love her. And we are, as a family, grateful for that. And never in my life did I think we would have a special needs child in our family, but
kind of arrogant for us to think that.
Yes, it is. But I actually do thank God that He did put a special needs child in our family to show us what true joy is. So.
Well, and I know Lauren doesn't like to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You think, why? I'm sure Lauren thinks a lot of times, why me? Why? But at the same time, a lot of times people say, well, why not you? But
yeah,
I feel like I and you and Crystal and Chastity and, every other mother in our family could not have handled it as well as Lauren does and juggle all the things that she has to take care of as far as Allie. And I know Lauren doesn't like to hear that. Lauren doesn't think she's special, but she really is.
I tell her that kind of stuff all the time too, but I do know it does wear her down, and she does get very tired.
Oh,
and
I
think she doesn't realize or think that people know that, but people do, but people probably don't know how to respond. So anyway, Brian's granny used to always say that God knows who to give the special needs kids to. Not to say there aren't some bad special needs parents, because there probably are. But in this case, He did know who to give Allie to. And so.
Because, we have not a lot of nurses in our family in general, but Lauren is a nurse, so she's got enough medical background to know things that she needs to be looking for, changes in Allie, or if maybe. She also, because she works as a nurse for an insurance company, she knows how to navigate systems. Not to say it's easy it's still not easy for her, but she knows more than your average person would know about how to get things approved and all. So God gifted her with everything she needs. And I just, I don't think I would have. I mean, like I said, Michael was born with his condition, but that's not near. I mean, I just had to give Michael medicine three times a day and watch him for any color changes, and it's still worrisome for that first year, but nowhere near
a lifelong.
Yes, and his issue was correctable, and but yeah, I do want Lauren if she wants to. If she doesn't want to, I understand, but I think this is kind of like a video record of our family, past and present. It might be good because I'm sure there's. I mean, it's not like we're reaching millions, but I'm sure there's like some extended family members that may eventually start watching this that maybe not be aware of the extent of her the diagnoses that she has and what symptoms those manifest as and what Lauren the care that Lauren has to put. I mean, I know Allie is very independent, as independent as she can be, but she's not.
Oh yeah, she likes to be independent.
She's not an independent person, and
she likes to do what she can, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, every kid does, and I'm just hoping that maybe between this and CPAP, the surgery, now that she's finally recovering from it, and between that and getting on the CPAP for sleep apnea,
the sleep apnea, that's what she calls it.
That and maybe not drastic changes, but subtle changes that help Allie and therefore Lauren too. So anyway, but yeah, we'll close this one out. This one's around a little longer than we're trying to keep them, but it needed to be. There was just too much to tell. And if Lauren does come on and talk about her in a future one, it will probably be a longer one too, because
it'll probably be longer than this, actually.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to close this one out. Thank you for watching. And again, these are what we've shared today is recent memories, and today is tomorrow's memory. Goodbye.